Okay, so it's time to cut the grass again. Actually, I just finished cutting the grass. I used both mowers. The Skag had about a half a tank, and I pretty much used most of that. I might have a little bit left. And the Toro, I don't have much fuels left in it. I actually filled it up before we cut last time and then after we cut. So I was able to finish mowing everything, which was not a small undertaking. The grass is dry. We have torrential downpours planned for actually tomorrow and for the next several days. So I wanted to get everything cut before then. It's dry, but I want to show you how much stuff actually clumps up underneath here in a typical mowing. So I've already cleaned the mower out once, so this is actually the second time, and this is all big chunks, and it gets caked underneath there. You can see some of it fell on the blades. That'll just fall off on its own. Still scraping it, still trying to get it clean. I still have to get the Skag out and do the same thing to it because it's probably just as bad under there. And that really limits how effective the cutting capabilities are because there's so much above the blades that's clogged up. You can't get that upward draft that you need, that suction to pull the grass up. So the more compacted the bottom side of the mower gets, the less it actually cuts grass, the less effective it cuts grass. And you actually start to see a lot of the taller stuff just kind of laid over where you ran over it versus actually getting cut. The way I do this is I simply put the brake on the bad boy, park the front tires here. I have a jack stand underneath the bucket just in case, and I have a couple tire chocks behind the mower. So we're going to go ahead and finish this one off, then we'll put it back in the garage. We'll get the Skag out and do the same thing. But this is kind of a necessity, you know. A lot of folks say you're never supposed to, you know, wash or spray down a mower, but you know, leaving moist, damp soil and whatever all that mixture is, it's going to have grass and everything else, sand up under there is going to do the same thing, rusting it out as far as you know, moisture being trapped as you know, as it is to spray it down. So we kind of do a combination of both. It just depends how dirty it is. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and drop this one down, throw it in the garage, get the Skag on, and clean it off. I didn't start recording soon enough while I was doing this, but yeah, we have a rental property we cleaned out and had an opportunity to kind of crush everything down before I filled it up with all this debris from a fallen tree. One nice thing about having a mini excavator is your ability to demolish stuff in a dump trailer. Okay, so quick review on this Toro blower. This is the brushless blower as part of their 60 volt line. This thing has been fantastic, and you can tell we've used the heck out of it. I mean, it even kind of sounds funny now when you run it, and as a precautionary step, I went ahead and ordered another one, which is right there. The funny thing is that this one is so much more powerful than the Wen unit that I have right there. Yeah, but this one's only 40 volts, but yeah, this thing is insanely powerful. And then when I went to order a replacement, I saw that they were normally like 200 or 250, something like that. And they had it on sale, and this is without the battery pack or the battery charger, but they had it on sale for like $120 because I think they have a newer version of this. So let me show you what the difference is that I'm aware of. Okay, so still the 60 volt cordless blower. This is part of their Flex Force power system. And yeah, this thing works really well. And I believe the newest version of this is like 140 mile an hour wind speeds. I didn't order that one only because this thing is more than powerful enough for what we've been using it for, which is just about everything. And we use it pretty much every single day. And it's used for probably about an hour, hour and a half every single day. Which means it's probably used a lot more than most people would use a consumer grade tool. And I'm going to tell you the thing has held up remarkably well. We've been able to just constantly keep this area clean back here. because it gets really windy and a lot of these live oaks get leaves everywhere. But that thing has worked out flawlessly, and I'm super, super impressed with the Toro tools. But when I look at all the tools that I use from Toro, I'm going to say that the blower is by far used more than any other tool we've had out here. But yeah, it's been working really good. Like I said, it makes a little bit of a strange noise, and I was just kind of afraid that the motor would go out on it or something was going to fail, maybe the fan, and just wanted to make sure that I had a backup in the event that that one went out. And the fact that this thing's on sale now and it's just a little over $100 versus $200 definitely made it a no-brainer just to go ahead and get one. Full 3-year warranty on these things too. And then the weed eater's also been working out really well. This is the same 60-volt line brushless weed eater, part of their Flex Force system. Well, this thing has worked out incredibly well, and this is actually part of their modular setup to where you can actually remove this forward shaft and you can swap it out with something else like a tiller or a pole saw, all sorts of stuff, and it connects right here in the center. And the reason why we use this one over the dedicated weed eater is this one appears to give you a little bit more variable speed whenever you use the trigger versus the other one. From a quality construction perspective, you know, we have this one, and then I have my tried and true Echo right here, which the handle broke and I replaced it with a new Echo handle. This thing works really well, but I'm going to be honest, this one works just as well in my opinion. I don't think there's a situation where I felt that this 60-volt version from Toro is underpowered, and it gets just as much usage as this gas-powered one. And to be honest with you, it's held up incredibly well. Very, very commercial in terms of its overall construction. The handle on it hasn't broken yet, whereas the Echo, the handle did break. But yeah, this thing has been an absolute beast. I'll throw some links in the description of this video if you feel that you want to try out some 60-volt product lines from Toro, because their stuff has been rock solid. The mower is rock solid. The equipment has been absolutely amazing. From a pole saw perspective, I still kind of prefer my DeWalt pole saw over there. Only because it's a little easier to add the extension to the center, and it's part of their 20-volt line, so it's not a higher voltage tool, but it works really well, and I haven't had any problems with it at all. So that's the go-to pole saw I use, even though the go-to trimmer I use is the Toro, and then I also use the Echo, but I have them both positioned on the mower, so I can pretty much take everything with me whenever I'm out there on the property. And then finally on the list of things to go check out are going to be the pool. So I've shown you in a previous video where we had some pool vacuums, and they're cordless pool vacuums that you simply charge up and drop in the water, and they vacuum for a little over an hour before you need to pull them out. Well, I told you that the ones that we had weren't performing as well anymore, and I bought a new one, and it's been in the pool for almost an hour and a half. It's right over here. The other one is right there. Same company, this is just the newer generation of it. And this pool looked terrible this morning. All the wind and everything that blew through from the storm got a lot of debris, leaves and everything else in it. And that thing is still chugging along, and it's got 4 light indicators on the top to show how charged the battery is, and 2 of them are still on. And like I said, it's been over an hour and a half, and it has done a remarkable job cleaning up the pool. Got a little bit left over here, some leaves right here. Well, that thing has been an absolute beast. If you have a swimming pool, whether it's an above ground swimming pool or whether it is an in-ground pool, and you are looking for a very cost-effective solution to clean it, I'd highly recommend these things. I mean, they don't last forever. The main thing is, I get that there's chlorine in the water, there's other chemicals in the water. It's a pretty harsh environment, to be honest with you, especially keeping stuff sealed. I've purchased lights and things like that are supposed to be sealed, and you see that they start leaking after a relatively short period of time. These things, even if I get 6 months out of one of them, that is well worth what you pay. I think I paid $180 for this one, and to have a pool vacuum that can keep the pool pretty much maintained to where I don't have to have a hose running to a skimmer and all of that stuff, and to be able to do it as effectively as these things have been able to do it, Almost $200 is more than justifiable to pay on something like this. Again, even if it breaks after 6 months. That's how I feel, because I know how much it costs to pay someone to come out here and vacuum the pool, and just one trip paying someone to come out to clean your pool can cost you over $200. Whereas this thing right here, again, I can use it as much as I need to. This design is better in almost every way than the first design. It's easier to clean, it's easier to take apart, it's easier to charge, everything about it's easier. But what's also really nice is the fact that when the battery does finally die, it doesn't stay on. What I mean by that is when I pull it out and I plug it in, I don't have to remember to turn it off before plugging it in. It'll just turn off on its own whenever the battery dies, because I don't have to remember to hit that button to turn it off before I charge it like on the old one. The main reason why is because if you forget and then you plug it and charge it, it technically turns back on while it's charging. So you have to be sure to turn it off, especially if you don't keep it in an area where you're constantly going to be monitoring it while it's charging. Anyways, super cool. I'm going to let that finish doing its thing, which is a very, very good thing. Anyways, guys, I sure hope you enjoyed the video. I'll throw a link in the video description for that, too, if any of you guys have swimming pools. And not a sponsored thing. I pay full price or whatever the price is on Amazon at the time I buy it. I don't negotiate any type of a discount or anything, but definitely wanted to share with you the results of how things work out here, because again, a pool is not even a clean pool is not a really great environment for anything that has to run with a motor underwater, especially something with a battery. And that thing's been working really, really well. We've had it for over a month now, and no problems at all. Anyways, guys, if you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up. We'll talk to you again real soon.